Good morning, guys. Good morning. Good morning. I hope you can hear me clearly. Good morning, everyone. You're welcome back to today's live session. If you can hear me clearly, kindly let me know so that we can proceed immediately. Good morning, guys. All right, let's get started immediately, okay? So you're welcome back to the YouTube live session, which we hold every Saturday by 9 a.m. If you are new, we come together and then we make analysis and look at what market is displaying for that weekend so that we can know what we're going to be looking out for next week by Monday. Okay, so we are going to be analyzing 3 to 4 assets. If you have any asset you want us to make analysis on, drop it in the comments, and I am going to be picking 3 to 4 analysis from the comments. The most mentioned one, I'll be picking it from the comment. Okay, so keep dropping the assets you want us to make analysis on. So let's get straight into the business of the day. So I'm going to be starting with the first one, volatility 50. We've been making analysis of this asset for over 2 weeks now, and just like I always say, I am still more of a sell person until market shows me otherwise. So while we had our last real break of structure was to the downside, we had a real break of structure to the downside here. This was our last real break of structure. So everything we're going to be doing will be inside this range. It's going to be inside this range until market gives us a break of this eye to the upside. Until market gives us a break of this eye, that is when we will know that we violated the current range we are in. So anything I'm going to be looking out for right now is more of a sell than a buy until market shows me that it is willing to start its buy. And based on our last live session, I made mention that market already came back to take the important liquidity I am expecting it to come back to take. The liquidity has been taken, and since the liquidity has been taken, it is very obvious that we had a change of character to the downside. There was a change of character to the downside. So currently my mid-term range is from this low to this high. That is my mid-term range. I made a video about the range yesterday, so you can check it out. So we are currently in between this range. This is the mid-term range we are currently in between, and this is our major range for this time frame. But the mid-term range that we are into is from this low to this high. So since we already have a change of character, I'm not expecting market to come back and give me a break to the upside and give me a break of this high. So what I'm just going to be expecting is where I am going to continue the sell, or where I'm going to leverage on getting very good sales for a continuation to the downside. So I'm going to be going to my 4 hours time frame, and I'll see where market is currently reacting from and see what we can do. So I'm going to be going to 4 hours time frame. So what do we have on this 4 hours time frame? First, you can see that we had our last break of structure to the upside on this 4 hours time frame. There was a break of structure here. As much as market ranged for a very long time, you can see the range. You can see the range for a very long time. However, we already have that push to the upside. So I am just expecting market to give me a change of character, and then we're going to continue, coupled with the fact that we have trend line liquidity here. You can see everything market has been creating here is trend line liquidity. So I'm expecting market to come back and, you know, violate all this liquidity, but you can't tell for sure. So I'm just going to look at what market is currently displaying, and that is going to showcase me what I am going to be doing, or the next line of action. So I want to see where I am expecting market to come back to here to react. So it is super possible for us to come back and take this high as the liquidity for the market. Let's check what this high looks like on 2 hours time frame. Let's check what it looks like on 2 hours time frame. But that is my current inducement for the market. Okay, I'm waiting for market to come back and possibly take that high. Alright, so I'm going to be marking out my point of interest for market to come back into. So that's my point of interest for now on volatility 50, unless proven otherwise. So I'm just going to be marking this out as my point of interest. So what I am expecting, you can see that based on this move of the market, we had range structure. Sorry, we had this eye, weak eyes. Yes, we call them weak eye. So this is our weak eye, and I am expecting market to just raid it and use this place for a continuation to the downside. So I am expecting market to come back to this our point of interest before making a continuation to the downside. So currently I won't say we should join the buying anyway, because it is closer to the PO high. So I'm just going to be waiting for that PO high, for that market to pick into the PO high and give us a change of character. Then we can continue to the downside. Where market is currently reacting here is not really a sure place for me, so that is why I'll just hold on for what market will do. And sometimes it is very possible for market not to come back to your PO high. So what you will just wait for is for another break to happen, or if you can see where to join the continuation when market gives you a real break of structure. But pending that, I am currently on the outlook for market to come back to this PO high and give me a change of character. So that is that for volatility 50. Okay, let's go to the next one, volatility 101S, most mentioned. If you want me to make analysis on anything, keep dropping them in the comment section. So let's check our volatility 101S. So let's check 24 hours time frame. All right, based on the weekly time frame, they don't allow us have access to weekly time frame here. I would have shown you something. I'm expecting market to break the overall week high. That is currently my target. I want market to go and break that overall weekly high. Assuming we had access to weekly time frame here, I would have shown you what I meant by market breaking that overall high. So if market is targeting that high, I am not expecting market to come back and break this particular low. I'm not expecting a break of this particular low, meaning that we're going to be trading inside this range. So the first thing I can see inside this range is that we had fair value gap. There was fair value gap, which I am expecting market to come back into. So it is very easy for us to spot that on as a fair value gap. So let's check on 4 hours time frame. So first, this is my liquidity. This low is my targeted liquidity. I'm expecting market to come back and take that low as the secondary inducement. Okay, This is my secondary inducement. However, you can't tell for sure until market comes back and break this low. This low is going to be the determinant of market coming back to break this low and enter into this market. And you can see that we had a lot of mitigation. Market has mitigated a whole lot of area here, except this fair value gap area. Even this fair value gap area, we had it mitigated. However, I am expecting market to take liquidity before it proceeds to the upside. So let's check the 2 hours time frame and see what market is currently doing on the 2 hours time frame. So our last break of structure was to the upside, which is our range structure. Our last break of structure to the upside, we had fair value gap, which market is currently reacting on. Fair value gap, there is a fair value gap here, which market is reacting on. So as this reaction is happening, let's go to 30 minutes time frame and see if we can be able to join the buy continuation, if it is going to buy from that side. So let's check 30 minutes. What are we going to be expecting on 30 minutes? We had a break of structure to the downside. We had a break, okay, a sweep. Then we had a break. Apparently this high manipulated this high. So the first thing I'm waiting for is for this high to be broken. Where market is reacting is a very, very good area. So but I cannot look for that buy continuation except we have a change of character. You can see we came back to take this low as liquidity. This low, this particular low we are there, we came to take it as liquidity. Our market came into the fair value gap and we started that reaction to the upside. So let's wait for market to give us something like a break of this high. Then we'll have a retracement. Then we continue to target this high. So let's wait for this high to be broken, which is going to confirm our real point of interest. It is going to confirm that this point of interest is a real deal, because remember we are still expecting market at this fair value gap, and it is very likely for market to take this low, and once this low is taken, we are expecting it inside the fair value gap. But since we've not taken the low, you cannot be so sure. So we have a fair value gap here, a last break of structure, fair value gap here, expecting market to break this high, and then we continue. When this high is broken, I'm more of a very good buyer. I'll buy till market takes this high and probably target some areas on the daily time frame. So that is it for volatility. 10-1S for me. So let's do volatility 25. Let's do volatility 25. It's loading. So let's go to 24 hours time frame. I actually made this analysis yesterday, but let me explain that. Okay, we had our last break of structure to the downside here. Last break of structure, and it is very, very obvious that we had void. We had void here that we are expecting market to come back and fill. So that is our void area. However, we had our last range structure BMS. This was our last range structure BMS, and until this high is broken, this particular high, we cannot be so sure if market is ready to come back into our void area. So we're going to be marking 2 points of interest for volatility 25. So let's go to 4 hours time frame and I will show you the point of interest I marked out. I marked out this first point of interest, which I am not so certain about because market is still coming up here, and the second point of interest was here. It was here. I'm coming. Let me check the 2 hours time frame. My second point of interest was here. Because of that void, market might not have the strength to go back into our sponsored candle, so I marked out this second area as my point of interest. There's a major in between this zone, so this is an interest candle. So let's go to our 30 minutes time frame and I'm going to show you what I'm saying. 30 minutes. So there's an interest candle around here. Let me show you. Which carries our major, which is this high, serving as an interest candle here. I will put it above this high because I'm expecting market to come back and use this as liquidity. So this is my second point of interest for V25. Now let's see if we can join the buy. Let's see if we can join the buy on this our 30 minutes. We had our last break of structure here. We had this liquidity formation. So I'm expecting a comeback here. I'm expecting a comeback here. So let's see what that looks like on 2 hours. Yeah, it looks good. So I'm expecting market to come back here and then give us a continuation to the upside until we come back into this zone, because where market is currently reacting, I can assure you that this sell will not hold for a long time. This particular sell will not go for a long time. This is a short-term sell, probably the 5 minutes 15 minutes sell, but it is not going to go for so long. We'll just come back and we will continue the buy. Where it is reacting is not valid at all, coupled with the fact that market created this weak eye. This is a weak eye here, right? So I am expecting it to come back and be raided. So market is not reacting at a good place. So that is it for me on volatility 25. I'm just waiting for market to come back to the PO high and then we continue the buy setup. So I'm going to be analyzing one more. So let's see the most mentioned. Let's see the one we're going to be working with. So let's go for volatility 25 1S. So let's do 24 hours time frame. Our last break of structure is to the upside, right? But where market is currently reacting on the weekly is a very good area. This change of character that we had, it is very possible we'll come back and raid all this trend line. This is trend line. It is very possible market comes back for it. However, you cannot be so sure. So our last break of structure is to the upside, so we're going to be working in between this range until market says otherwise. So our first change of character was here. This is our liquidity. This is where I am expecting market to come back to, our point of interest. So let's pick this as our point of interest, okay? Since that is our point of interest, is there a way we can join the sell? Let's see. where did we have our last break of structure? Our proper last break of structure here. And you can see that we've had a lot of range. So let's check the 2 hours 30 minutes and see where we can join the continuation. So I'm going to be marking the last range structure formation. This is our last break of structure for the range. This is a fair value gap. A fair value gap I am expecting market to come back to. Let me check it on 4 hours time frame. Okay, very good area. So this is what I am expecting on volatility 25 1s. So I am expecting market to come back to this area before a continuation, and that is that for volatility 25 1s for me. If you have a question, please drop it in the comments and let us treat question as soon as possible before we call it a day. Do not forget to like this broadcast, guys. It takes you nothing to like it. Just click on the like button and like this broadcast. So if you have any question, please drop it in the comments and let us treat question for today. Alright, which web can I use for analysis? For deriv is charts.deriv.com/deriv. You can also access it on your phone, right? You can access it on your phone. So just go to your Chrome, your Safari, and click on charts.deriv.com. You're going to be able to access their trading view. Please, ma'am, explain more about that valid order block. Okay, this session is actually a live session for just analysis, not for explanation. However, I would find time and make a video about it and get it posted. Do you understand? What are your criteria to identify a range structure? We have different type of structures. I have made videos about the types of structure that we have. You can access it on this YouTube channel. I have a lot of free resources here, so just access it on this YouTube channel. I'm on VIX 25 1s. What do you suggest I do? Is it a buy or a sell? However, you actually know what you saw that made you got in, so I cannot be the one to tell you if to exit or not. Do you understand? If the market is going against you and you see a change of character, it is best you go out of the market. However, I can't tell you that go out of the market or stay in the market. You actually made analysis and you know what you saw that made you stay in the market. Do you understand? Alright, guys, thank you so much for attending today's live session. I'm going to see you on Saturday by 9 a.m. also. Do not forget to invite your friends and also ensure not to always miss it, because our live session is always top notch, and you will see that most of the analysis we've done, they will play out. That's the truth. So I'm going to see you guys on Saturday again. Have an amazing weekend ahead, and do not forget to rest this weekend. Okay, I'm going